happened after the death of Arion and Agole. Okello Woyothi from Adilang was appointed into chief in 1922 to 1923. So Woyothi became the leader of the Labwor people. But of course, the way Okello Woyothi led people was not nice, because elders, the available elders, would say that when people were sent to go and work in his farm or in his place, he would get those beautiful girls and take them as his wife. And he forced people to go and settle near the police post where his home was. And the worst bit of it that Woyothi was able to stop the trade of iron trade between the Labwor and the J at that time. And this Odani was one of the traders in the whole time, and he actually narrated to me the story of how they would carry these spears on their heads to J in exchange of goats. So a pair of goats goes for one spear. So Okello Woyothi was able to stop the trade of Labwor with the J and brought the worst famine of what was known as the Woyothi famine, Kechka Woyothi. So that is what available elders gives oral narratives. And then after the death of Woyothi and people declining to work with the Okello Woyothi at that time, then there was a war leader that was able to defend the people of Nyakwai at that time. He defeated the Itesots who were invading Nyakwai, and that was Owin Lengomoi. So Owin from Kakor clan became the chief. So Owin was appointed chief by the British administrators at that time to lead the people, basing on his war tactics that he was using to defend the people of Nyakwai at that time. So Owin became the leader of both Labwor and Nyakwai at that time until his death in 1938. So after the death of Owin in 1938, Tomaji Achila or Thomas Achila from Abim or Atunga was appointed the chief to rule people in 1938 to 1945. So Tomaji became the chief at that time. And all this period, the Labwor people would collect their tax, carry their cotton on their heads, and move up to Kitgum, where people were being governed at that time. So that was the turmoil that people were undergoing through at that moment. So after the death of Tomaji Achila, the leadership of chiefdom or of chiefs or ruodi that were being appointed by the British at that time moved to Panangara, and most elders recall that Enoch Ameo. So Ameo became the chief. Ameo was appointed as the chief to govern the people of Karamoja of Labwor at that time. So Ameo became the chief and worked with people until 1957. So at that moment, the county headquarters of Labwor was in Morolem, and that was Ratkoko. So that is where the county headquarters used to be at that time. So at the time when Ameo left being the county chief, so the Bona PC came with a letter, and people said, why don't we give Okolemoy, Yafes Okolemoy, to lead people, just like the way the father did. So Okolemoy was the son to Owin Lengomoy, and he was a veterinary person at that time. He did veterinary medicine, and he was serving in Morocco at that time. So according to elders, Okolemoy was given to be the chief. So when Okolemoy led people from 1957 to 1962, they also wanted someone who could be representing the Labwor County in Lejiko. And elders agreed, said, since Okolemoy is one person who has also been able to lead us, let him also lead us both in Lejiko and as our county chief at that time. So between 1957 1957 to 1962, Okolemoe was leading the Labwor people both in Legiko, that's Legislative Assembly, and then serving as the county chief. So at the time of his retirement, people thought of who will again help to govern people at that time. So elders again sat and they thought of who could really come to help people. So at that time, Okech Yonasan Akakara and Smei Logera were the permanent members who were trying their best to see who could be the chief. So both Smei Logera and Akakara tried their best, but eventually Akakara was given to be the chief, and that was from 1962 to 1965. So that was when Akakara became the chief, and Akakara was from Alarek, Jonathan Okech Akakara. But Labwor elders asserted that something happened that was so strange. Akakara requested the secretary that he wanted to go for a short leave. And of course, the secretary, the chief, decided to write to the provincial administrator that Jonathan Okech Akakara has requested that he's really tired with work and he wants to rest. So, instead, the letter was changed that Akakara wanted to retire from service. And so the British colonial administrators went with the letter that was written that Jonathan Okech would wish to retire. So when time came, Jonathan retired. Smei Logera was appointed the county chief of Labwor at that time. So when Smei Logera was appointed county chief of Labwor from 1965 to 1967, 1965 to 1967, then from there, Smei Logera was transferred to work in J as the county chief of J at that time. So when Smei Logera was taken away to work in J, and then another chief was appointed called Aselmo Lowakore, who was from Kapelemoru. So Lowakore was appointed chief from 1967 to 1969, where he served people. But also after his short work, and so that was how Joshua Chuna from Bokora was also appointed as the county chief of Labwor, according to elders. And Joshua Chuna served from 1969 to 1970 as the county chief of the Labwor people at that time. So after Joshua Chuna serving his part, Bala Amoch from Dodot was also appointed the county chief. He came and replaced Joshua Chuna from 1970 to 1971, and he was from Dodot, Kabong. So he also served Labwor at that time. So now you're seeing the trend of chiefdom and kingdom now, how it is coming from what we claim as the kingdom to what we claim as the chief. So why were these people not able to reclaim the position as the king of Labwor at that time? Because the trend we are following is from the trend of where the British started appointing people when they stepped in Labwor Hills. So after Bala Amoch, the 13th person to serve as the county chief of Labwor was Japheth Lokiding. So Lokiding Nalibe is well known by most of the available elders of this age now. Most of the Awa Ribonya elders, Rukojwi elders, even some of the Lengatom, by the way, they recall the services of Nalibe as one of the county chief that served the people of Labwor from 1971 to 1973. And Nalibe was coming from Dodot, from J. So the cry of the Labwor people in change of leadership was so paramount that even the British administrators would listen when they give their cry to the British administrators. And so by 1973 to 1976, Tirilo Lote from Kano, Kanyipa, was appointed the county chief of Labwor. And so he served Labwor from 1973 to 1976 until the time when Timothy Loduk was also appointed to serve the people. So Timothy Leduc was from GA, and eventually he served Labwor for only 1 year, and then his portion was given out to Pilipo Lokwang, to Nekomia Lokwi. Nekomia Lokwi is one of us from Alerek. So after the service of Timothy Leduc, Nekomia Lokwi from Alerek became our chief, the county chief of Labwor. So Lokwi served Labwor from 1976 to 1978. So after that, after his service, that is now when Pilipo Lokwang from Bokora was again appointed to serve the people of Labwor from 1978 to 1988, almost 10 years, according to Labwor elders. So all this information were generated from some of the people who served as county chief in Labwor, and those who served was Elder Pidele Omugutum, who also served as the county chief of Labwor from 1988 until around 1996-97, according to him, before he was also reappointed to serve the people as Jago. So some of the people who were giving this information were some of the elders who served either as Jago or in other position, but they were able to recognize or to remember what took place. And of course, the last person to serve as the chief of Labwor, or the county chief of Labwor, before the transition of government into what we call COW right now, was Ruoth Owin, who was from Lango at that time. So Ruoth Owin became the chief until 1998, and that is when he served Labwor County, and it was changed into Chief Administrative Officer at that time. So basically, this is what I found. This is what I gathered from oral narratives and some other writings of the Karamoja district by J.P. Baba in 1964, and other anthropologists who did studies within Labwor in the old days to establish the truth of whether the Labwor people had kings or had kingdoms that were inherited from child to father or by bloodline until that time. So, in conclusion, the 19th century history of Labwor illustrates the gradual convergence of various clans and groups into cohesive Otheme and ultimately a larger society. So, drawing from both Paranalotics and Luo tradition, the people established their institutional framework and worldview, while the Paranalotic heritage primarily shaped societal development during this period. Recent perspective from the Labwor elders that I was able to interact with to give me the oral narrative indicated that the spread of royal making drum further solidified these traditions. However, the Paluo leadership concept and was more indirectly influencing on the political structure of the Otheme in Labwor and their integration into a broader society. So many elders in 1930s to 1970s assert that the Labwor or the Labwor people never formed a formal kingdom. Rather, they had the Paranilotics institutional system of governance, and especially the age-set system, which facilitated cooperations among the people since the 17th century.